What's good? What's good? Thank you. We are back. One and only Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett Podcast, aka Triple P, aka the Common Sense Podcast, your source for music, sports, politics, world events, and much, much more. We're gonna give people a little bit of time to come on to the live, and we got a guest coming on as well. Don't forget we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Audio version will go to Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, TuneIn, Stitcher, Slacker, iHeartRadio, Player FM, and much, much more. Also, we upload to Rumble and Millions.co. Definitely go check out Millions.co. Look up the Paul Pickett Podcast. We got the new litter apparel on there for all you dog lovers, pit bull lovers, Rottweiler lovers, Doberman lovers, or whatever. As long as you're a dog lover, go check out the new litter apparel. We got dope t-shirts with dogs and stuff on them, and whatnot. So last night was BKFC 76, Texas. Go over that a little bit before my guest comes on. Give him a couple minutes and whatnot. Of course, Tony Soto got upset by Ben Bonner. Definitely didn't see that coming. Felt like Tony Soto was kind of looking ahead at the fight, while he was sitting there calling out Kai Stewart and stuff like that. I ask fighters all the time, how you feel about guys looking ahead to the next fight, and they just think it's disrespectful and not really a smart thing to do. And it looked like it didn't work in Tony's favor. Andre Arlovsky beat Josh Copeland. Jessica I beat Maria Agavapova. Kenzie Morrison beat Alex Davis. JC De Leon beat Ruben Ware, which is I didn't see that coming. I definitely didn't expect that one either. But JC De Leon is undefeated right now. And definitely go check out the interview I did with Ruben Ware probably a couple months back. Anthony Garrett beat Hayes Wilson. Darren Whitney lost to Rodney Hinton. And Rodney Hinton looking like a beast in his weight class. I got to see what weight class he's actually in. He's 2-0, and he's looking like a beast. Jake Heffernan beat Paco Castillo. And Willie Gates beat Brandon Meneses. And then there was a few free fights as well, which I didn't see the main fights because I don't have the Zone and whatnot. I usually watch the cards that are on Amazon Prime. But Roderick Stewart beat James Gray. I did see that one. And Jeremy Salsada beat Israel Rodriguez, and I watched that one. And Cameron Delano beat Jesse Desrosier, I guess. And Cameron Delano looking like Redneck Mandel with the cowboy hat on over there. But Rodney Hinton, what is he? He's a welterweight. I ain't gonna lie, he's a beast. He's looking like a beast. He looking like gonna be a problem in the welterweight. And that's actually, if I'm not mistaken, the title that Strode and Cutman are fighting for. That pretty much was vacant. So I mean that. Oh no, that's the one Julian Lane's fighting for. Okay, so yeah, that's gonna be interesting seeing what Rodney's gonna do, man. But he's definitely looking like a beast. Let's see what's up with our guest. Let me hit him up real quick. Make sure he ain't forgot. Sometimes people get caught up, they get forgetful, or something might come up and whatnot. But Chili Too Cold, appreciate you, my guy. No, it's a hot Sunday here in the Ville, like always during the summertime and whatnot. So let's see. Let's hit him up real quick. I give him a couple minutes and whatnot. Yeah, I mean right. What I'm about to say, the card. I mean, last night's card. I was just really shocking that Tony Soto lost. I mean, he's 6-2 now, still really good record, but it was a unanimous decision. I felt like he was looking ahead to Kai Stewart, which he really shouldn't have been looking ahead to Kai Stewart. Up, here we go. So we got our guest about to come on right now. Let's introduce him properly. So he originally started in MMA, now in the BKFC. We'll be fighting Philly versus Louis Rumsey, July 25th, 2025, 8 p.m. Eastern time at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. Let's bring on the one and only Lex, the Grizzly Bear Ludlow. Lex, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you? How are you guys doing?
I can't. Kind of hot down here in North Carolina, but we used to it.
North Carolina. I thought you would be from around like up here, like Newark area or
Nah,
something like that.
nah. I'm a North. A lot of people think I'm from New York, but I'm not.
So what's
I
going
think
on,
it's
buddy?
chilling, man. Appreciate you hitting me up. I mean, last fight I saw you do was pretty entertaining, so we're gonna get to that too. But let's start here. I would like to just kind of get to know people on the first interview. So, what got you into MMA?
Brock Lesnar. I was a big
Brock
WWE
Lesnar.
fan. I was a big WWE fan, and I wrestled all throughout like my life. I wrestled since I was 5 years old, and I was always a big Brock Lesnar fan. So when he went to the UFC, I remember he fought. I think it was in K1. He fought Minso Kim, I believe, and he like dominated him. I believe it
Mm-hmm.
was Minso Kim, and then he made his UFC debut when he was 1-0 against Frank Mir, and he lost. And I was like, man, this is really stupid, and I like never watched it again. And I uh, I ended up. It's so like pathetic the way I actually got into it. My dad would always try to get me to watch it, and I never would get into it. I was just a WWE diehard fan, and then the UFC 2009 Undisputed game came out. It was a demo,
Uh-huh.
and I played it, and I got like obsessed with it. And then I started learning all the fighters, and then I ended up watching my first pay per view, which was UFC '98. It was Lyoto Machida versus Rashad Evans for the light heavyweight title. And I really liked how they sold the storyline about how they both were undefeated. It got me really interested in it. And the co-main event was Matt Hughes versus Matt Serra, and I fell in love with it, and I got obsessed with it. Never thought I would fight. The game plan was always to be a pro wrestler, but ended up joining a little gym that was called karate, real big karate, and then underneath of it, really tiny, was jujitsu, and they had like jujitsu once or twice a week, and I went in there, and I no aspirations to fight, just wanted to learn, and then I ended up stopping that. I only did it for a summer, and I stopped
Mm-hmm.
that. And then about a year and a half later, I joined my first official gym, which back then was called Paper Street BJJ. The guy convinced me to do to fight, and
Mm-hmm.
the rest is history, brother. It's where I got my start at. Like, but I mean, 8 gyms later, but now I train at Forge MMA, which is run by the Dawkins brothers, Chris and Kyle Dawkins. But uh, yeah, that's how I got started.
So the video game kind of really got piqued your interest at first to get into the UFC. Basically, that's crazy. I never heard one like that.
Yeah, well, I was like 2009. I was probably like 14.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so
That
it's
makes
not like I
sense.
was not like I was like 30 years old doing
Yeah.
it, but yeah, I was 14. It came out as a demo, as a free demo. You got like 4 or 5 fighters, I think, or no, I think it was 2 fighters. I think it was Chuck, and I think it was Vanderlei. You could play as, if I'm right, or no, it was Chuck and Shogun. You could play as Chuck
Okay.
or Shogun. And I got freaking obsessed, and I ended up buying the game, and then learning the ground game by that. And I actually learned like all the positions playing the game. Doesn't mean I was good when I started. It was just like, like I was familiar with half guard, full guard, side control, mount, like back take, stuff like that. So I kind of had a little bit of an idea of what I was getting into, but it was a lot harder to do, obviously. You there, brother? Oh,
So you fought some amateur MMA, then you turned pro, and you had this. From what I was reading, you had a 3-fight skid.
yeah.
And how was it dealing with like 3 straight losses? Is that a really tough time for you?
100%. It made me stop. It made me, if you could tell, you're probably looking at my record right there. I stopped for
Okay.
quite a while. For quite a while. 2018 to 2024. So what's that? 6 years.
Yeah.
6 year layoff. I went, got a job, got really fat, um, gained a lot of weight. I was really depressed and heavy, and yeah, the 3 losses, dude. Mentally, I was very burned out. I was always in the gym. I was training all the time. I don't think I had the right people around me in my life, coach wise, and
Uh-huh.
now it's a lot different. I have a great structure around me. I have a lot of great training partners. I learn and train with Chris and Kyle Dawkins all the time, and they're not just my coaches; they're my training partners as well.
Mhm.
So I've been training with them steady for 3 years now, or about 2.5 years now. So I was training with them before I stopped, but I never got to take a fight with them. I tore my knee, and I
Okay.
that's kind of why the layoff kind of happened. I had a real bad knee injury, and I kind of just threw my hands in the air and I was like, I'm done. I'm gonna go get a job because I had a baby at the time, my first baby, and I uh, I was just like, I'm done. I'm gonna go get a big boy job. I'm gonna make some money, you know, and but now I quit my job and I do this full time. So.
So then you come back and it looks like you went 2-1. So
Yeah,
did you start
should be
regaining your
three.
you
Should be
three
three
and
and
one?
zero, but
Okay, so
well,
three.
no, no, no.
So
You're right. But I should be 3-0. I was
oh,
beating the
okay, you
crap out of
should be
that
three
dude.
and zero. Okay.
I was beating the crap out of that dude, and I saw him running his mouth in the comments not too long ago, and I didn't air it any mind because he was the better guy that day. But I got gassed, dude, and I hope he watches this because me and him both know who the better fighter is, bro. I ragdolled him around for the first round and a half, and I was cutting to 205, and my opponent backed out, so I had to step up to heavyweight. He weighs in at 265. I weighed in at like 218 or whatever the heck I weighed in at.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you run your mouth all you want, but deep down, you know who the better fighter is.
So I'm guessing though with those wins you started to regain some confidence.
Yeah, I mean, just training with Chris and Kyle all the time.
Yeah.
They're in my ear giving me advice. What I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing, positionals and position wise. And back then I was training with like flyweights and like lightweights. I wasn't even training with guys my size.
Yeah.
So I think it really helps training with really good guys at a really good level. Kyle is Kyle's the number one fighter outside the UFC in the world. And Chris Dawkins is a former number 7 heavyweight in the world.
Oh
So
shit. Yeah.
getting the train with those guys every day, dude. I feel like I can hang with some of the best guys.
So at what point do you say I'm gonna do bare knuckle and why did you decide you were gonna do bare knuckle?
Good question. So I watched I watched the interview. I really think I could build my record back up. I think I could be with MMA. I think I could be a positive record fighter. I think
Uh-huh.
I'm a lot better than what my record shows for sure. I think when I was younger, I made a lot of mistakes, and I think if I were to go and do it over again with the mentality I have now, I think I would. I think I would be an undefeated fighter right now. But well, for that time. But uh, what made me get into it was, I saw Dana White do an interview. And Dana White said, "Listen," he said, "I'm not hiring anybody over the age of 30 anymore. He doesn't want 30-year-old prospects anymore. He just wants to stick with the young guys." So that kind of sounds to me that I gotta win at least 10 fights, and at least it sounds like I gotta finish at least 9 of them. You
Yeah.
get to a certain point where you're fighting real good fighters, and you're not gonna get finishes. They're gonna be decisions, or you might get finishes. You're not always the best fighter every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some day you have bad days. So I'm sitting by my computer. I got that West Virginia fight coming up, the one where I fought Sean Deanan. And I'm just sitting at my computer, and then all of a sudden my phone lit up. I had a notification from Nate Shook. And he make a long story short, he asked me if I'd be interested in doing bare knuckle. And I sat there and I thought about it. And, I never really thought about doing bare knuckle, but
Yeah.
I did some research real quick on them. They're the number 2 promotion in the country, at least right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? Some things, you got to take chances in life. All these successful people, they always say you got to take a chance. And that's what I did. I took a chance. And I signed with BKFC for a 1 fight deal, and they really like me a lot, and I really like fighting for them a lot, and so now we're doing it again. We got another fight coming up.
And I'm guessing UFC would be the number one fight promotion, right?
Well, I mean that's obvious. Like I'm not. It's not a knock on BKFC.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. They're number one, and they just been around for so long. You know, BKFC is new, and I think the tides could turn one day. You know, it's going to take a while, but you know
Yeah.
they're new. They're newer. It's going to take a while.
But it makes sense for you. Like you said, UFC's talking about if guys are a certain age, they don't want you no more. So if you can't go to the number one fight promotion because of age, let's go to the number two. Because I've seen guys fight in BKFC till they're 50.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those fighters they say you do this. Like a lot of the guys that were in the UFC that go to BKFC, they're like, this is something you do. This is something you do towards the end of your career. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, dude. I think it's just something you do if you want to do it. You know what I mean? Like I know there's a scar tissue thing and like with getting hit and stuff like that, but you know, I think a lot of those guys in BKFC that they fight. Like I just started watching it. Like last
Mm-hmm.
night was my first pay per view event that I watched, the DAZN card for Texas. A
Yeah.
lot of those dudes, they just fight reckless, and
Yeah.
and it's such a new sport still. There's not a lot of technique, and I really feel like if you know if you really do your best to fight offensive with defense, I feel like it can be a good something good for you. You can last a little bit of a career in, but it does definitely take a lot of damage on you or your
Yeah.
opponent.
I think the way they kind of talk about BKFC is like bare knuckles only really like 7 years old. It's not even a decade old as far as professional. So it's kind of disingenuous. You know what I'm saying? We still don't know what it's going to be. Like you said, the guys are reckless because, like Tomahawk said, a lot of guys are still trying to learn their way. They don't know what to expect in a BKFC fight. It's you coming from MMA and boxing. This ain't the same thing. This is something totally different.
It's more of
So,
a street fight right now.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I
definitely.
mean? But I like how I look at it. I kind of bring a little. I try to bring a little bit of both to it.
Yeah.
Try to bring the technique with it as well, and you know it paid off for my last fight. So you know I'm definitely going to be coming in there with a game plan and a strategy in this one as well.
Well, let's get into the last fight. You fought a guy interviewed on this show before, Conor McKenna. Was that fight of the night, if I'm not mistaken?
You're right. We won fight tonight.
Yeah, and that's your debut. That's a good debut when you get fight of the night.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
I think that's definitely something to be proud of as a fighter coming into a new sport that you get fight of the night. I mean, not you know, I still don't know what the bonuses are because I know sometimes they be late on paying the bonuses. So every time I ask the guys like, "What was your bonus?" They're like, "Man, I ain't got it yet."
Yeah, I got it, but you know
I know you
I
can't
don't feel
tell probably because
yeah.
contractual stuff and whatnot.
They
But
do okay.
so he was talking in that fight a lot. What was some of the things he was saying in the middle of the fight?
Mm, he's just calling me curse words and stuff.
Is that all he was
I,
doing? He was just cussing at you?
He's just a bully, but I like
Yeah,
him though. I mean, me and him are cool now, but he's a good
yeah,
guy. He's just cursing at me and stuff, and just trying to be a bully. And when I'm in there, I'm the bully. You know what I mean? I bully you. So his words mean nothing to me because I'm punching you in the face. You know what I mean? If he was hitting me and saying stuff, it probably would have been different. But I
yeah.
don't know. He was getting lit up, and you know he only hit
And
me
then
like
talking shit. Yeah, talking shit. So
yeah. It made he's got a chin though. I told him that. I said you got the crimson chin. You know what I mean? I called him Crimson Chin. But listen, like he only landed like 5 decent shots in the fight. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like he got like I think they said he landed like 30 or 40 punches on me. I guess they counted those stupid ones in the clinch. But
yeah.
you know, he only landed like 5 or good shots. Nothing ever hurt me. I was never dazed or anything like that. So he I knew when he was running his mouth it was a tactic to throw me off, and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
locked in. I'm locked in there, dude.
You were
I'm
locked in.
focused.
You were
Like
locked in, dude. Yeah.
I'm trying to rip your freaking head off. You know what I mean? Like when I'm in there with you, like you're like I'm trying to take your head off your shoulders, literally.
But I also do think that was part of the reason why the fight was the most entertaining fight that night. Because even though you was hitting him and stuff, when he wouldn't go down, he would just he would just do some crazy thing, and I'm just like, damn, Connor just he wild because he normally don't do that in fights. Because I think last fight he got pulverized. You know what I'm saying? Before that, so he, I
Well, if
guess
you
he
go
didn't have a
back,
chance to do that.
and you watch him fight Zach Calamus or
Is
whatever
that
that weird,
Calmus? Yeah, yeah,
yeah, whatever that weird
yeah.
guy's name is. Um,
Calmus.
he actually hits Calamus a lot in that fight. He lands some
Yeah,
good shots on Calamus. He don't do
yeah,
that to me, dude. He didn't do that to me, and it was a smaller ring too. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
I think Conor McKenna's. I think he's a lot better than what his record is. I think
yeah.
that I think he's just been getting a lot of tough matchups, and I think I would really like to see him fight the guy I'm fighting next. I'd really like to see
Okay.
that fight happen. Sorry, my son
All
back
right. So no, you're good. You're good. So, what is a typical training camp like for you?
there. It's I do a lot of wrestling still.
Okay.
I do a lot of wrestling, and I do a lot of pad work, and I do a lot of boxing. I don't really throw any kicks and sparring anymore, so I really work on my hands a lot. But I work on my hands and my wrestling a lot.
Okay.
Like today, I
And you
did
about to,
jujitsu.
okay. So you about to be fighting Lewis Rumsey.
Right?
What do
Yeah,
you
I can't wait.
what What do you know about this guy?
I've been following this guy for 10 years, dude. Um, it's funny. This guy, I watched him fight Azuna, for CFFC at CFFC 47, and I just thought I could beat him. Like I thought,
Okay.
like to myself, I could beat this guy. I definitely know if this was an MMA fight, he would be on his back for at least 15 minutes. I feel confident enough that I'm a way better grappler than him, and I could take him down whatever I want, and do whatever I want with him. But fortunately enough for him, we're fighting for
Yeah,
BKFC,
bare knuckle.
so
Yeah.
it's a very limited sport. Okay, so there's only two things that I have to watch, and there's only two things he has to watch, and it's my left fist and my right fist, and his left fist and his right fist, right?
Mm.
So I already know the game plan, and I know how to fight this guy, and I've known how to fight him for 10 years. He had no idea who I was until he got that phone call. Um, I think it's going to be another fight of the night. I think it's going to be a hell of a fight. Either it's going to be a knockout of the night for him or a knockout of the night for me, or a fight of the night for both of us. And I know he's got a family, dude, and I know that, and I have a family as well, and I respect that, dude, and I respect him as a father. But when I go in there, dude, rest assured, and I know he'll see this, dude. Rest assured, I don't back up, dude, and I'm coming straight forward, and I'm a lot faster than I look, So you better just keep his hands up.
Well, you guys, you're the same exact height, but he got a 3.5 inch reach. I mean, how much of a difference can that make?
Nothing. Don't
Nothing.
bother me at all. Don't bother me at all. I'll be in his face the entire time. He's gonna back up, dude. They all do. They all
And
back up against me.
what's typically the approach of a guy with a longer reach? I heard Chris Lytle say you just gotta kind of try to go on the inside.
It's only 3.5 inches. I mean, I spar Chris Dawkins. Chris Dawkins is 6'4". I spar Chris
Okay.
Dawkins. I spar Kyle Dawkins, and he's 6'5". Whatever Mister 5'11" man has, it's not doesn't really matter to me. I'm gonna be in his face the entire time. He's not gonna back me up.
You said something earlier about the smaller ring in your last match. I mean,
We're gonna
how
be
much
fighting
of
in
a
it.
is it going to be a smaller ring this time too?
Yes.
How much of a difference does it make between the bigger squared circle and then that smaller squared circle that they have?
A lot less room for him to run away from me.
So and that's the thing that BKB kind of gets on BKFC about, that the big squared circle is just like you could just run too much. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
too
but
much
like you need
area for
strength. But
a guy to just run from you the whole fight.
yeah, see, like fans are crazy. Like we need you need space and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I mean,
yeah.
we are humans too. Like we gotta like protect ourselves and stuff. Uh, I don't really know much about BKB. I never watched them.
Yeah.
Like it's not a shot at them. I don't. I've don't they fight in like a triangle or something like that?
Yeah, it's like a triangle ring, man. I mean, it's just something about the production though isn't the same as BKFC. Like when you watch it, it just doesn't feel like as sexy. It's just not a good product when you're watching it. Like especially on the TV. And that's what to me really makes the difference when people, like most of the fans are really watching at home. So your product got to be really look good. I think BKFC looks like you're watching a wrestling match with bare knuckle.
Okay.
That's what I
Okay.
feel. I feel
Well,
like I'm
yeah. Well,
watching
that's the
WWE with bare knuckle. You know,
problem with the small ring. Like there's gonna be a lot of clinching. It's gonna be
yeah,
a lot
a
of
lot of
clinching.
clinching.
It's a lot of clinching. It's either gonna be a fast knockout or a lot of clinching.
And clinching, I mean, I know fans don't like too much clinching, but as a fighter, clinching could be a good thing for defense, especially if somebody knocks you upside the head and you about to go down. I guess the best thing to do is try to clinch, right?
Well, listen, dude, I'm a wrestler, so I like to
Yeah,
clinch,
yeah.
and he
And
likes to
some
clinch
dudes
too.
don't like to
He,
clinch in this sport.
but he does. He does. He
Yeah,
likes to clinch.
okay.
You know what I mean? And I really think it's going to be a battle of the clinch in there. So unless he backs up and runs away.
Now, do you typically into a fight, do you study footage of him yourself or do you let your team do that and just trust them
I watch in the beginning.
at the beginning?
I watch his tape in the beginning. I'll watch
Okay.
it again. We're about like a little less than 5 weeks out, but I'll probably watch it again sometime next week, and then I'll be done.
Okay. So you put a lot of trust into your team basically.
Yeah, 100%. Well, it's just I have a visual. I visualized. I already visualized how the fight's going to go, and you know, I really think it's going to end up the way I want it to end up. And you know, I mean, I already told you I'm going to be in this guy's face the entire time. I fight the same fight. I'm always in your face. And but I think he's going to be surprised because I had the stomach flu the last fight. I was throwing up and I had bathroom problems the whole week of that fight. And there was a point where I almost pulled out of the fight because I didn't think it was going to be smart. But the day of the fight, I actually started to feel better, like somewhat better. But I was supposed to weigh in at 230 for that fight, but I got so sick I ended up weighing in at like I think 218 or something like that
Mhm.
because I was so dehydrated and
You
throwing
lost
up and
weight.
stuff. Yeah, I
Yeah.
lost a bunch of weight. So, but we ain't having that problem this time.
And even that, like if you go in with like a real bad flu or something, that definitely can give the other fighter an advantage, right?
If you go back and you watch it and you watch it with your headphones in, you'll hear me sniffing a lot, like
Okay.
it's because like
You
I'm
still
just
had a
sick.
runny nose and all that?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was sick. I was so sick.
All right, so fighting. What's the worst injury you've had like mid fight or in a fight, period?
I
You
don't think
never
any.
had no injuries that you had to deal with?
No.
Because I know like guys, especially in this sport, the guys have broken hands and dudes have got knocked down and broken shoulders and all
Here,
types of
here,
stuff.
here's a crazy fact for you, brother. I landed 70% of my strikes in my last fight.
Damn.
I'm pretty accurate, dude.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I make them count, dude, and I throw them hard. You know what I mean?
So let's talk about bare knuckle, and not just BKFC, but bare knuckle in general. Where do you see this sport in the next 3 to 5 years?
35 years. I mean, I still see them at number two. Um, but I think within the next 10 years, I could see a potential competitor, like a real like they're I think they're obviously competitors right now, but I see a real
Yeah.
competitor. You know what I mean? Where like maybe even UFC's bidding for guys, and they're bidding back and forth.
And what do you think it's going to take to get bare knuckle over that edge past the UFC? Just time, probably.
Somebody like me,
Okay.
a loud mouth guy that isn't afraid to say what he has to say. You saw my call out.
That's what I was just about to ask you. Are you into calling out guys? Who'd you call out?
I called out Fedor Emelianenko, brother,
Okay. Okay. Why him specifically?
because he got offered a $2.5 million contract and he turned it down. Why did he turn it down? I'm his Huckleberry, brother. I'll be his
Yeah.
Huckleberry. I'll fight Fedor Emelianenko. He's the money fight, dude. He's the greatest heavyweight of all time. I want to see it. I want to feel the aura when I step in that ring with him. I think I'm gonna get it, dude. I'm really manifesting this. And I really think the fight's gonna happen.
And you
A
talking about
lot
him
more.
fighting bare knuckle?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he got offered to fight for bare knuckle, and I heard it just didn't pan out that way. But I heard
Wait,
I
so
know that
wait,
he's
wait.
still.
You saying they offered him 2.5 million to fight bare knuckle? Is that what you saying?
That's what I read. I don't know if that's true. That's what I
Okay.
got. That's what I read. I don't know. I don't really. I have a manager that talks to PKFC. I
Yeah.
I don't. I don't talk to them. So I'm going off of what I like. I read whatever I'm saying. I'm reading what you could read.
Yeah. Well, I would think it could be highly possible because I've heard Mike Perry's gotten close to $1 million or $1 million for a fight in BKFC before, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but that's what I've heard.
Well,
You know.
we're talking about the greatest heavyweight of all time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Like if Mike Perry could get close to, like I heard he got maybe it was 400,000 or close to $1 million. I mean, so somebody way greater than him probably get a hell of a lot more.
Yeah. So former Pride champ, former Bellator title contender. Um, he's beat a bunch of great guys, but he's also fought a lot of sucky guys. And when I say sucky guys, I mean typical Russian fights guys with no friggin' fights, or Fedor Emelianenko is the king of fighting guys that are middleweights and light heavyweights and getting knocked out by them. So I'm that guy. I'm a former middleweight. I used to fight at 185, and I do plan to go to 205 after this fight. This should be my last heavyweight fight, unless it's for Fedor Emelianenko, and that's the fight that I want. And I know for a fact that I could beat Fedor Emelianenko. I'm being respectful right now, but in my post-fight speech, I wasn't that respectful. But
well, we're definitely gonna make sure we clip it up and tag him.
yeah, I'm sure he hasn't seen. Well, I think he saw the call out, but he probably doesn't remember me right now. But he will in a couple weeks. He will.
Yeah, I realize you never know who's watching nowadays, man. You really don't. Because they won't
Yeah,
like or comment. They won't like or comment. They'll just watch from afar.
yeah, sure, yeah. I think I knock him out. So I
So
think he's old age Penny.
they had some news I saw last night. They said John Jones retired from the UFC. What was your reaction when you saw that?
The greatest fighter of all time. Congratulations. Everybody says
Okay.
he ducks Tom. Everybody says he
Yeah,
ducks
that's
Tom
what everybody's
Aspinall.
saying. They said he
Yeah,
was
guess
ducking.
what? Guess what? He made a huge business decision. GSP said if he would have lost a fight and then retired, he would have lost on millions of dollars, and it's exactly why John Jones isn't taking that chance.
And I'm glad you said that. I've always been a strong component of if you're a champ and you could go out the champ, go out the champ.
Nobody said Khabib was ducking
Yeah.
when he retired. He did retire when he was 30 years old.
Yeah.
No one said he was ducking. He could have moved up at weight and fought. He didn't do that.
Well, they said Lennox Lewis ducked the one of those Russian guys that he was supposed to fight, but he went out the champ. So it's like,
One of those
okay, but he went out on top.
one of the Klitschko's,
I think, yeah, one of those brothers.
one of those brothers, the punch clinch guys.
Yeah, which they
Yeah,
did take over boxing for a little while afterwards. Or at least one of the brothers did, but
I can't watch boxing, dude. It's so boring.
I can't either no more. It's not what it used to be.
Just punch clinch. That's what they all do.
That's crazy. Couple more questions and we're gonna let you give us some shout outs. So what advice would you give to somebody coming from like MMA into bare knuckle?
It's a good question. What advice would I give someone? I don't really know. Uh, I think it's easier and harder. If that makes
Okay.
sense. I think it's
Okay.
easier because it's limited, and I think you don't have to worry about getting knee kicked, elbowed, or taken down. But I think it's harder because the impact is obviously a lot different. Um, but other than that, like these, I feel like getting hit with a bare fist just feels like an elbow. Like
Put your hands up again. What it looked like, I mean, them jokers look like they still got bruises on them.
Yeah, just from, just from hitting the heavy bag. But I hit the heavy bag bare fist. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean I condition them, but no, they're fine. They don't hurt.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go, dude. I wish it was this weekend, dude. I'm ready to fight right now. I feel in shape. I feel like I'm ready to go. So let's go.
And so the last fight you did, that was Philly too, right?
Yeah,
And because you're in Pennsylvania, correct?
yeah. I'm right outside Philly. I'm about from that arena. I'm about 40 minutes.
and you definitely should be getting a lot of good fights, I would think, coming up this year. Because I mean, David Feldman, being that he's from Philly, he's definitely gonna milk doing shows in Philly as much as he can, especially when they sold out the Wells Fargo Arena like 13,000. I mean, you know,
17.
was it 17? Oh, and that was actually bigger than any UFC show, from what I heard, like
Yeah,
actual ticket sales
put
and
me on it.
whatnot.
Put me on the next one. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, because they'll probably, I mean, I could see them doing Philly at least probably every 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, he said in an interview, he said that they want to do it every like 8 times a year or something like that. So I'm ready to go, brother. I'll fight.
Now,
I'll fight. I'll fight
being
every
you
time.
being you from Philly, is there any other guys on this Philly card that's from your way that people might be underestimating, overlooking?
I'd have to see the card. I know that violent hippie dude. I talked to him a lot, and I actually like that dude a lot, man. The violent hippie guy. I think he's going to be the fight after me. But he was the fight before me. He's the guy that got the fastest knockout in BKFC um, for the last card. I was actually hanging out and talking to him a lot in the back, and I like that dude a lot. And I gotta shoot him a file on Instagram. But I like that guy a lot, the violent hippie guy.
What about this guy, Dustin Pog or Peg? I
Peg,
always
Dustin Peg.
butcher names.
We're under the same management team.
Okay.
Um, Honestly, brother, I think I watched him fight a couple times in the UFC. I think I tried. I think I watched. I don't remember that night too much. It's like that night, like it was just awesome. It was a great night. I remember I watched it a little bit. I know Dustin's a dog though, dude. He's a good fighter, bro. And I feel like I don't know if he's ranked for BKFC or not, but he should be. I think.
I mean, he's 4-2. That's a pretty good record as far as bare knuckle standards go right now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's a good fighter, dude. He was. I think he was. I think he had a decent record in the UFC as well. I'm not sure though. I don't remember. I don't bash anybody.
So,
I don't bash anybody, Paul. I don't bash anybody but Fedor Emelianenko.
uh, yeah, I mean, everybody got to stick with they support their team guys, I would think.
Yeah, I mean we don't train together. Like I think he lives in North Carolina.
Oh, does he? I
I
didn't know
think
that.
either north or south.
Okay. Yeah, he might. I have to check that out. So, you going for the knockout in this fight?
Always, dude. I was going for the knockout that
Always.
last fight. He just had the crimson chin.
Okay. Okay. Can we expect a knockout? You think it's gonna go distance, maybe 3, 4, 5 rounds?
3 rounds.
3 rounds at most.
Hmm.
I think that's good though. I mean, I think 3 rounds makes for a good fight, especially if you're trying to get fight for the night. But I know you ain't probably pushing to try to get fight of the night. You just probably want to win more than anything. And then if you
Well,
get
that's just
fight of
how
the
I.
night, it just happens.
That's just how I fight. That's not. I've gotten fight of the night for like regional shows before, but I always try to put on a good fight. But I I don't see this going past 3 rounds.
Well, what is it? What's the date on this? July 25th. So we got a exactly
And I'm
almost
on the
like
poster. I'm on the
30 days.
poster, brother.
You're on the poster too?
Yeah, dude.
I mean, a couple more fights. I mean, you probably should be getting into like co-main event and feature fight territory, I would think.
Yeah, dude. They put me on the poster. I think I'm
Because
like. I think I'm like. I think I'm like right below. I think I'm like 2 fights below the co-main event. So I think
yeah.
I'm below the featured fight. I don't remember. I'm like one of them.
Yeah, you're 2 fights below the feature fight. I just interviewed the guy in the feature fight, John Garbarino. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Yeah, we're on every card together, regional and BKFC. We're always on the same cards.
Yeah, Johnny Cannoli. I actually like the guy. He slaps people with cannolis. I think it's good for entertainment purposes. You know what I'm saying? The
Yeah, sure.
weigh-ins can be kind of boring sometimes. Sometimes you see some weigh-ins and I feel like I just wasted like, 30 minutes of my life, some of the weigh-ins, because they just come there and they just, they stare. But it's good to see a little push here and there, a little bit riled up, you know what I'm saying?
I'm very stoic, and I'm just very just yeah. I'm locked in, dude. Like
Yeah.
I'm sitting there, and I don't really care about the hype at that point. My hype is me talking trash, and I'm a trash talker. But I really respect Lewis a lot. Lewis has been around. Lewis had his first fight. I'm pretty sure it was either his amateur or his pro fight. He had his first. He was 17 years old when he had his first fight, and that was
Damn.
in 2007. I was 14 years old when he had his first fight. So or I was even younger than that. I think seventh grade, 2007. So however old you are in the seventh grade, that's how old I was. And, he had his first fight then. So, like I said, dude, this guy's been around for a long time. He's 35 years old, but he's been around for a long time, and it's a fight that I've always wanted, and I can't wait to get in there with him. Can't wait to meet him. Can't wait to shake his hand. My name's the Grizzly Bear, so I can't slap him with a cannoli. I could probably give him a steak,
You
or
slap him
something.
with a
But other
paw,
than
man. You slap him with your paw.
maybe, but nah, I'm not that way. But I'm gonna shake his hand, stare him down, then fight him the next night.
I'm glad you said I'm big on grizzly bears. Like grizzly bears, they out on their own like when they're 2.5 years old, right?
Wow, man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
big
Grizzly
animals,
bears,
dude.
yeah, they're huge. I mean, they literally, as soon as they get to a certain age, like, all right, you kick rocks, go take care of yourself, man. And they're big enough to do it, man. And they're very, very temperamental.
My
Very
thing is
temperamental.
the reason I was called the Grizzly Bear is because I forward pressure and I am on you and I just don't back off.
Yeah, that sounds like a grizzly bear.
For sure, brother.
Well, before we let you go, man, any shout outs you want to do, like sponsors or anything of that nature?
Uh, we could shout out Capital Lending. They always sponsor me for every fight. We could
That's what's
shout
up.
out Roma Delight Pizza over in Abington, PA. I'd like to shout out the Forge MMA, brand new gym just opened last week. Just joined with the Dawkins brothers. We were at a different team, but now they branched off into to do their own thing. Very excited for those guys, man. They're great stand-up dudes. They a lot of detail in the class. You can learn a lot. It is an MMA gym. They do offer jiu-jitsu. Uh, just they got kids class as well. I don't remember the schedule off the top of my head, but Chris and Kyle Dawkins deserve the world, man, and I'm very happy for those guys, man. Very very happy because they really changed me as a fighter. I went 0-3, and then as you said in MMA, I went 2-1. Now I'm 1-0 BKFC, and I really do credit them for getting me to be where. I mean, obviously I did all the work, but they're the ones that really helped me out and pushed me and taught me a lot. So I give them a lot of credit, man. And I love those guys a lot. Care a lot about those dudes.
Well, man, I appreciate you taking the time out to do this interview. I'll make sure I, get off here, clip up some clips and stuff, and make sure I promote it all the way up to the fight. I definitely be tuning in and interested to see how it goes. I mean, you're going for 2-0, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, in this sport, you get two more wins after that. I mean, you could easily, be competing for a title shot, man. You never know with this sport.
I think I could be fighting for the title after this fight, dude.
I mean,
I think I got the gift of gab, dude, and I think I can talk anybody into anything, dude. I got my eyes on someone, man. I've been writing to them on Instagram. I don't want to say who yet, but I've been writing them on Instagram, and they've been liking it when I'm writing it, and they are a champion, dude. So you know what, dude? Like I for BKFC, so you never know, dude. It might happen.
and you're a heavyweight, right?
Yeah, but I'm really a 205er. They told me they
And
needed
so what
BK.
is
What
that?
BK
That's cruiserweight,
205
205.
is. Yeah, I kind of gave it away. Like he's looking it
You
up.
said yeah, that is a cruiserweight. You said yeah, 205 is cruiserweight.
Yeah. I've been
Okay.
writing to him. I've been writing to him. He's been liking it.
You know what?
He
And
did.
and I, cruiserweight is I'm be honest, man. I don't think cruiserweight is.
It's not a deep division.
It's not a deep division, man. You took the words out my mouth, man. It's so not like heavyweight is.
No, heavyweight's deep.
You got
My teammate Pat Brady is number 6 in the
he's
world.
yeah. Then you got Josh Watson. He just won. Leonardo Perdomo. I mean, that guy's a beast. He could fight in Adams next fight. You got Mick Terrell, Ben Rothwell. Yeah, that's stacked. But cruiserweight, I feel like cruiserweight is probably one of the least deep divisions
I'm fighting for the.
in BKFC.
I'm calling that dude out after this fight.
That's what's up. Well, definitely don't look ahead though like Tony Soto. Please don't do that.
Who's Tony Soto? Oh, the dude last night.
Yeah, he was thinking about fighting Kai Stewart, and not worrying about his opponent.
I got one thing on my mind, brother. And
Yeah.
that's Lewis Rumsey, the beast, Lewis Rumsey. That's
It's
all
gonna
that's on
be
my mind, brother.
interesting. Definitely gonna be
I have
interesting, man.
I have a goals list, you know what I mean, and it's in my brain. But he's number one on the list right now, and then after him, I have, Fedor Emelianenko or that bum, that boring champion.
Well, you win this joint, we can get you back up on here, and you can call out whoever you want to, man. We get some clips of it and all that, so we can
Yeah,
get that.
just
Make sure we get
pay
that word out
attention.
there.
Pay attention to the post-fight speech, brother.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, for sure, brother. They give me the mic, dude, because I got the gift of gab. You know what I'm saying? Go after this, dude. Go type in on Facebook Lex Ludlow BKFC, and
Okay.
it's the first thing that's gonna pop up is me calling out people.
Okay. All right. Well, man, I hope you have a good day, man.
You too, brother. Thanks for the interview, man. I really appreciate it, dude. It was great. It was great talking to you, dude.
Anytime, man. I appreciate you reaching out, man.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good one, brother.
All right, you too. Peace. Well, there you have it. Lex Ludlow will be fighting in Philly. Of course, that card is actually, we got 3 more cards to go on that one. You got Birmingham next, and that's June 28th. Tyranny versus Christie is the main event. Of course, I'm definitely can't wait to see this BKFC Hollywood Perdomo versus Adams. But then you got Justin Peg versus Peterson, or Dustin Peg, my bad, versus Peterson. That's BKFC Fight Night Philly, and that's the card he'll be fighting on July 25th, 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. And we also interviewed Johnny Cannoli, who's fighting on that card. Definitely go check that interview out as well. That was the last one we did before this. And of course, you got Lex Ludlow versus Lewis Rumsey. Lewis Rumsey's 2-4, 6 bare knuckle fights in the BKFC under his belt. I mean, that's a lot of experience as far as BKFC standards goes. 6 fights, it definitely is. Even if you only got 2 wins or 4 losses, it's still. I mean, you never know. Two straight, 2 or 3 fight wins, and you literally, in the 500% win column. So appreciate everybody tuning in on Instagram. Everybody tune in on Facebook, YouTube. Hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Sundays. I know a lot of y'all probably went to church. Now y'all probably going to them sit down and eat and have lunch and things of that nature, So definitely enjoy the rest of your day. And don't forget the audio version goes to Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, TuneIn, Stitcher, Slacker, iHeartRadio, Player FM, and much, much more. And also, I got an interview Tuesday with Jeremiah Scott, who's fought a couple fights in BKFC. I think the Prospect Series. I don't know if he's fought a pro fight yet, but we're gonna find out. A friend of mine ran into him at the beach, at Myrtle Beach, and was like, "Yo, this guy look like he fight UFC or bare knuckle." And then they saw he had a black eye, so my friend's like, "Yeah, he probably fights bare knuckle," and they was right. But he fights MMA and bare knuckle, apparently, and we're just gonna find out, more about him and bring him on and see if he's got any up and coming fights and see if he's still doing BKFC and whatnot. But I saw a workout from him, very, very intense workout. I mean, I don't know if I've seen a workout that intense on social media in my life. It was crazy, yo. So appreciate y'all tuning in. We about to wrap it up. We about to hit this hour mark here. So we about to hit y'all with the outro. Peace, and I'm out.